Good morning, my ladies and gents, and my dear moths. This is going to be a short video, I hope, on the new kit that we have. Now, there is a story that goes with the rug and why I changed it. If you remember, there was another rug that I had made years ago, and it was just smaller pennies and all over stitching the different rows. I was thinking of doing this. It's a larger version, but it's almost identical to the teaching kit, and I was going to make this one into a teaching kit. Well, that changed, and that's part of the story. I had originally, and the photos of several ways that I put this together. This is my grandmother's flower garden, and I was going to do a smaller kit of that. I had them all done and glued, and these were the pennies, 3 to a 2-inch square, 2-inch circle, and we had some of the circles cut, and then the 2-inch punch broke, and now I can't do anything with 2-inch. But in the meantime, I had this wool that I've used for this kit. I had this wool dyed to cut the pennies for the grandmother's flower garden. And it didn't happen because I cannot have any more 2-inch black circles. And so this is only a few of what I have. These were all cut from wool, and the colors were very similar. I didn't use red, or I didn't use blue. I'll have to use those in something else. But all of those colors and the rest of the wool that I dyed, I decided I'm going to turn this over so that you can see it much better, because there. And I should mention, while I'm at it, you can see these impressions, I guess I would call them, in my backing of my grandmother's flower garden. This is because I onion dyed to age the wool for this, and the onion dye I put heavily in the outside of these circles. I used a brush, like a small paintbrush type thing, and I did it, and that's what happened. And it gives it such an old, antique look, as though it was stored for many years, and I don't know, it's just very nice. It's a very nice look. So that's a little tip. But anyway, this is the new rug made from what I thought was going to be grandmother's flower garden. Well, most of them anyway. So where did I do with my picture? So I originally thought, well, I'm going to cut more pennies and do this. But then when I looked at it, it was just so beautiful that I thought, well, what if, I do those what ifs all the time. What if I took these and used them on top of those pennies? And this is what happened. Isn't that beautiful? I am so pleased with that kit, really. Now I'm going to do a I have photos of every step of the way of doing this, and I'm just going to generally skim over them today. And if you've made penny rugs, you'll know what I mean, because so many of them were done this way. But I do have photos. Oh, my hands, I can do those rabbit things or whatever that thing is. Gee, I can never get the lighting right. Anyway, I have photos, and I'm going to put them on the Mac, and then I will do a screenshot video to give you all of the photos step by step. I got to keep my hands away, step by step, and I will have that in a day or so. Uh, I'm just going to generally go through everything today. Now, the first thing that I want to go through is the colors of the thread. And the back is a grayish, darkish color. I'm not sure if that shows there, but it's a dark color. And that was on purpose because I didn't want any light. I wanted the pennies, the color of the pennies, to shine through and nothing to distract from that, because if this would have been light inside, it would have changed the look of the rug. You'll know many of the rugs that I had shown, there are some of them with the black base, and that is on purpose. That is to have the penny colors pop, sort of. But these colors are so aged and muted that they really don't pop, but there's nothing there to distract from the really nice shades that they are. The shades all come through good, but they're very soft. Now, I wanted to mention something about threads. Now, this is a wool base. I'm trying to use a wool base. I wonder if I can do it this way. Can I do it that way? It's a way to use up more wool. So you won't be lining this probably if you don't like the look of a different shade of thread showing through on the back. Then you would use a thread that sort of blends with the back and also will work on the front. And now I have done tested, and I think 2 strands are good. Oh, no. Oh, it always happens, doesn't it? I have to get 2 strands out here. That's 1. When you test your threads, you don't test with the full amount of threads in your embroidery. You test with the amount of threads that you're going to be using to make the stitch. Gee, I should have done this off camera. Oh, come on. So, if you're using 2 strands, you would test with 2. You would do it that way, right? 3, you test with 3. Now, when you do it on the back with that, it's pretty well blends in and it's not going to show. So just be mindful of that. And you can use different colors. Just remember, if you're using a very light thread, that it's going to show on the back. Something like that, if you just wanted to do blanket stitches, it would really blend in and look like my old thread. So you just test the color of the thread, and maybe test the thickness of the thread as well, and also whatever stitch. Now, with this one, this is the V stitch which is the only difference with that and a blanket stitch is that you angle your needle instead of putting it in straight, 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 straight. It's angle, stay in that place, go up an angle. And it's the same as a blanket stitch. And then I've done the little star stitch. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention is you could certainly, if you like working with small things like that in your hands, you could certainly do these before you put them on the base. I used glue because I'm never going to stitch a rug with pens again, but you certainly could do that first and then put it on and do your whatever stitch you're doing. You can do it row by row that way if you want to. It's very simple to do. You would, and this is how you start, and basically I'll just run over the instructions. This is 3, so this is the center, and when you have your kit, it's going to be a diamond shape and it's going to be folded, and it's going to have lines that are put in with the iron this way and this way. Where those lines meet, your first penny goes, and that's how you do it. Okay. After you've finished putting your pennies on, then you can iron it out a bit in the back. But so your first penny goes here, and then you just keep adding pennies, putting them in. Make sure that when you have your rows, and you would do this center first with all the pennies. You could stitch it if you want. Now, if you're going to stitch as you go, take some tape and make sure that your pennies, there's not one that's sticking up. They need to be straight because this is an open edge, so you don't want to have one penny up higher than the other. These are all pretty good, but it's just basic, you see? It's just basic penny rug making to do that. You should always do that with every rug you do, because if you are making a very large rug, like say the grandmother's fan, and you have 2-inch, and you have that out a little bit on a row here, it's going to keep getting worse as the rows go through. And then you're either going to have to cut that penny that's out of sync and make it fit, or you're going to have a problem on the very last row. So that's just basic to do with every rug. So, okay, your packages are going to be the center, which is all of this, and the top pennies and bottom pennies are in. This is the second row, this is the third row, and this is the fourth row. Center is always the first row, and it's usually not a row, it's like a triangle. So that's how the kit comes. You can put your pennies on first before you lay it on your rug. You keep doing that, checking that they're even until you get to the very last row, and you can stitch as you go along. The very last row, you are going to take, and I know most of you know this because I've done it so many times, your base will be sticking out here. It's much larger because I've cut it off. So this base is going to be out here about that much. So you do not put these on. You take the tape, you put it on your backing, press it down, and this tape is 3/4 inch, and that is your guideline to cut your base to have your pennies sticking out like that on the outside edge. Very easy and simple. So you would have, this is your base, you would cut on this line with the scissors or the cutter, and then you would put your pennies on like this, remove the tape of course, put your pennies on your last row, everything is stitched, and then you would stitch these pennies. You stitch them half on your base and the other half is just blanket stitched by themselves. And that is all that's to it. Now, the other thing I want to mention is if you're using glue, that one's a little off. Do you notice that? A little off. Be careful that you center your pennies. You can take them up and put them back on, and even with if you're stitching, because you want equal around. It's that way with all small pennies when you do it. The other thing is, if you are using glue, put your glue on, glue it together, and then press it with the iron. Press it with the hot iron and press it down, and then do your stitching. If you are pinning, you're going to not be able to press it. So you would do your stitching and then you would turn it over, put it on a cloth, like a towel or something like that, and then press from the back. The best possible way that I, like the way I did this one, I didn't press it before. I wet the rug with, you can use either water or you can use the onion dye. And then once it's wet, I press with my hands like this. While it's wet, I just press, 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 press. And that's the way I press if I use only the pins and do the stitching that way. I find you don't want to press, even pressing and turning it, turning it over and pressing that way. You can do that if you have a blanket or something like that. But the wet method of pressing is so much better. The iron sort of flattens the threads. So you don't want to do that at all. So I think that's it. What did I forget? The name of the rug is going to be, my first thought when I saw this, and it was all together, because these pennies made such a difference when I put them on. It just looks beautiful in real life. I don't know what it's going to look like on this video. But my first thought was that just reminds me of the leaves in the fall and all of the different colors. So I'm going to name the mat Falling Leaves Penny Mat. And that's going to be the name. Now, I am going to send the invoices for PayPal as soon as I finish this video and upload it. If you decide that you don't want it, then just message me and I'll cancel the invoice. There are a few kits left, so I'm going to list those on my website, oldpennyrugs.com, and then that kit is done. It's finished. I'm only going to send this kit. No matter what kits I make, it's only going to be one kit I gotta top that with my hands. It's going to be one kit in one mailer and it's going to go that way because anything over a pound, and usually if you put 2 kits in, it's over a pound. Oh, the price changes drastically for shipping. The reason that these are free shipping, and I'm going to do the rest of them free shipping, is because some of you buy 2, and I'm very grateful that you do that, but you overpay for the postage because you should only be paying $6 for postage for 1 package. It does cost me more, but that's all I want you to help me with postage is $6. So I have to return some postage when I do the tracking, send the tracking, and that'll be the first of the week. Now, these are going to go out one day this week. Now, as I say, these pennies are all cut. Most of these are cut. I have to cut the base, and then I'm going to kit them up and then send them out. I'm going to do it with courier. I have to keep my hands away from there. I should learn how to do that, you know? What is that? Like that? What is that? How do you do that? Oh gosh. Where was I? Oh, uh, we're not taking them, we're not driving them into the city. I'm going to have courier pickup because everything is settled down because for about a month now, Canada Post was on strike and it was just ridiculous. The couriers were so busy, and I didn't want to use them, so we delivered, and even Chit Chats was busy, terribly busy. So, okay, I think I've done everything. Now, there's going to be 2 more. Now, I really want to show you this one. I'll just be a minute. And I'm not going to take this out of the video because I don't know how. I really didn't plan to show you, but I'm just kind of pleased with it. I want to show you and see what you think. Now, I'm in the way. Now, there, it's okay. My David Star was a long time ago, and I will never ever make those again. I don't have my paper with the, yeah, maybe I do. Okay. Oh, can't you tell I'm so organized? Oh, I don't have the picture for that, but it's the one with the knots. Maybe I have it. It's the little candle mat with the knots. That's not here either. No. Okay, well anyway, it's the little candle mat with the knots. The photos are on the group. And so I was just going to do that, but in a larger size. And then I had this really, well, I found these. These were from when I did the David Star. They go on the outside of the star, the points for trim. So I think I'm going to try and do something with this. With the diamonds, this I like the color. I'd like to have this a brown, more of a brown color. And this I would like to have more of a thin binding, like thin. Even that would be better. That's a 2-inch binding, and I don't think I like that. I want it a little smaller. And then I'm going to knot it with thread. Can you see that? I don't know if you can. I have a feeling this lighting's not going to be good. And I'm thinking of using this as for the knots. This for the knots. Different colors. So that will be probably, because that has potential, really it does. It reminds me of a checkerboard, sort of. It has potential, so I think this is going to be similar to what the knotted, it was a little candle mat and it was knotted. I think that's going to be somewhat like that. I'm going to change it a bit, but I'm kind of pleased with it. And that was these little things on here that I have a whole bunch of them cut, hundreds of them cut, and I had no reason to use them, and they were there in a bag, and so we'll see what happens. And that's it. We'll be uploading the video and putting it on Moths, and then doing the PayPal invoices. And as I said, if you change your mind, just message me and I'll cancel the invoice. And the few that are left, I will have, by the time I'm ready for my Jack date tonight, I will have those listed. So if anyone that still is interested in them, there's going to be a few there. And that's it. And the D rug, that's going to be pretty much like my original. And that one is going to be next. So check tomorrow or Tuesday, and I'll probably have that. And I will tell you when these are shipped. This is the first time that I've had kits shipped and on their way, and then another kit shipped and on its way at the same time. But I need to do these as fast as possible, because we're in a mess here in Canada. They want to get rid of our Prime Minister, and the Canada Post, they were on strike for almost a month, and the government made them go back. And so we don't know what's going to happen with all of that, but I am afraid of the 20-some% tariff that when your president, Donald Trump, goes into office, I don't know what is going to be with that. So I'm thinking that, if I ship anything, it's going to be a duty of 25 or 24% or whatever it was. So I want to get as much going and to you as possible to get rid of all this scrap and to start the Pattern Club. I'm so excited about that. Okay, this turned into a long video again. I just can't do shorts. Okay, thank you if you're still listening, and I so appreciate the orders and your help and your patience with Mama. Everyone have a lovely Sunday.